Hey guys, so today I'm going to be reacting to Optimal 2025 Whole Foods Tier List by RawReturned. I've watched his videos before, I like him, he's from England, my country as well. He says a lot of good information about these foods and other things. So yeah, we're going to watch him and see if I agree with everything he says in this video.
Okay people, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing a tier list of all the best and worst foods that money can buy. I'm going to be ranking them from top to bottom, and we've got a few ranking systems here. We've got Supreme Overlord, Elite Foods, foods consumed by the elite, Upper Class, Middle Class, Lower Class, Medieval Peasant, and It's Over. So I'm going to be giving you all the information that you need.
I like these rankings. Supreme Overlord would be brains, organs, blood. There's conspiracy theories that say the elites drink children's blood to stay young. I believe that because you look back in the past, the aristocrats, the vampires, they were drinking blood, to stay young, and that's the thing. They say vampires, they never age, or they age very slowly. So yeah,
About every single one of these foods and ranking them from top to bottom. So first up we have red meat or ruminant meat. This is really high in B vitamins, zinc, other minerals, and of course protein. This is probably some of the best meat that you will find.
I'd put it upper class because commercial cattle is just not very good. What they're eating and everything like that. Like some commercial cattle, they're not even eating mainly grass fed, they're eating other stuff. So yeah. I would say the meat that I would say would be elite would be venison, because if you catch wild caught venison that are eating a natural diet like acorns and grass and other stuff like that, they're definitely going to be much better for you. You can even buy venison, and they're farmed on woodland grounds, so they're going to have a much better diet. They also slaughter them on those grounds as well, so it's going to be better for you than commercial cattle that is slaughtered in slaughterhouses. Definitely much better than that.
And if you get it high quality, it is definitely an elite food. So next we're going to move on to chicken. Chickens are one of the most medicated animals on the planet, and they are fed a terrible diet of GMO corn and soy. So most chickens that you find in the supermarket will be terrible for you. I mean, if we're strictly going off pasture-raised, healthy chicken,
I would agree with that, definitely. The reason they can't handle the vaccines is obviously because they're so small, and yeah, I've seen him say that in other videos. The thing about also, I would say chicken breast is lower class, and the thigh meat is the best thing you can eat, or the organs as well. And the reason why the thigh meat is so good is because it has the skin on it. Because if you're just eating chicken breast without skin on it, you're just not getting the benefits of the collagen, which is really good for your skin, your eyes, your joints and bones. So yeah,
then they will be up there with the elite.
most people don't eat the skin.
But we're actually going to say closer to middle class if we judge it on the majority of chickens and how healthy most chickens are. But if you are getting pasture raised, just know that they'll be moving up towards the elite foods category. Exactly the same with pork. Pork is a very similar situation.
I would put pork lower because a lot of pork is processed. You think about bacon, it's got such a high salt count. Definitely bad because it has the nitrates as well. Just not good for you. I put that in lower class.
Pigs pretty much eat anything, and they're highly medicated. They're fed GMO corn and soy.
I wouldn't put it middle
if you
class.
Get pasture-raised pigs or wild pig, definitely really up there again with the elite. But for the majority of pork products, they're going to be pretty much unhealthy, and stuff like bacon is high in nitrates as well. So we're going to put that in the middle class with chicken. Next up, we have sauerkraut or any kind of fermented vegetable. People say these foods are elite because they have bacteria-creating properties, but they don't realize that they are bound in fiber. They have anti-nutrients. They create endotoxins in the gut and disrupt it.
The thing about sauerkraut is, if you go to a shop and you see that it has pasteurized on the back of the jar, you're not even going to get any beneficial bacteria at all because it's been killed by the heat. You're not getting anything at all. It's just cabbage, wet cabbage in a jar in vinegar. It's just pointless. It is bad for you. Don't eat cabbage. You're going to have really bad farts. You're going to have bloating. Yeah, it's just bad for you. It's just devoid of nutrients. It's bad.
So these foods are not really as good as people make out. What you really want to be doing is avoiding this, and I'm going to put that in medieval peasant. Next up, we have bananas. Bananas are completely GMO hybrid fruits. If you look at bananas in nature, they are full of seeds. They barely have any flesh, and they are pretty much useless. There's no water content in them. It's just sugar. I'll probably give this to the lower class. In England,
yeah, I agree with that. I stopped eating bananas and I eat other fruit because, yeah, it's just pointless eating it. it's gonna bloat you, and it's just, yeah, pointless. But the thing I want to say is, in the Georgian times and Victorian times, fruits such as mangoes, bananas, pineapples, they would be classed as the elite food. Only the elites could afford to eat them. They would be about £60 back then, which, adjusted for inflation, is about £11,000. Ridiculous, thousands and thousands. So yeah, definitely they would have been an elite food, but that's just because the rarity, the importing from countries like Africa. So yeah, I just wanted to add. I just wanted to add that fun fact.
You would say the lower class would have access to them. I don't think many medieval peasants were eating bananas, so we'll go with that one. We're sticking with the fruits. We're going to go with berries next. These are some of the most sprayed fruits that you would find in supermarkets, high in pesticide, hormone disrupting, and they have no way of keeping these pesticides.
The thing about berries is they have so much antioxidants that are going to fight against the pesticides. So I would say they're fine to eat. I eat them. If you were going to get natural berries, the Inuits ate, obviously, natural berries, and they're extremely good for you. And you are going to need some kind of source of fiber. I would say it's better to have fiber than no fiber at all. Obviously, you don't want as much fiber as they say, because you're just going to get stomach problems.
Pesticides out, so it goes straight to the flesh of the fruit, through the skin. I would say if you find wild berries, they're a lot better.
Yeah.
But still, I would say lower class, definitely. Up next, we have melons. Melons are a little bit different to berries because they have really thick skin, so the pesticide struggles to get through to the flesh. There'll be a lot less pesticide in these, but at the end of the day, it's just sugar and water.
We'll get some electrolytes from eating the melon, so it's okay.
The effects of the pesticide. Okay, so next up is onions. They're high in sulfur and FODMAPs. They're going to disrupt your gut, cause gas, bloating, and other stomach issues. They're also high in anti-nutrients. They taste bitter and disgusting when you eat a raw.
Definitely avoid onions. One of the worst things you can eat. People actually ate them so that they kill the parasites inside your stomach, but it's also going to kill your bacteria in your stomach. It's just really bad for you. It's just, no, don't eat it.
Onion, it doesn't taste very nice unless you literally adapt your whole taste buds. The first time you ever tasted a raw onion, I bet you...
You think about all the time that people are eating onion. They're eating it in dishes with spices in it. Spices are also same thing. You think onion rings, onion bhajis, samosas, all those things are fried and have other ingredients that disguise the onion on your own. You're not going to eat onion on its own. It's just bad. No.
Probably gagged and spat it out because it's so disgusting. So if you're consuming onions, you're a smelly boy, and it's over for you. The best foods that money can buy, and it is royal jelly, consumed only by the queen bee to help her grow, and it also helps you grow and helps your cells regenerate.
The thing about royal jelly is no normal person can afford this. It may be very good for you, but it's not really worth considering in the first place because it's just so expensive that you're probably not going to be able to afford it.
Helps with your fertility. It's really good.
And even if you can afford it, it's just not worth the money.
But it's very rare and very expensive, so we're going to put that in Supreme Overlord Foods. This is one of the top tier foods that you will find anywhere. Next up, we have deep sea fish like tuna and swordfish. These fish taste brilliant. They are mainly the dishes for stuff like sashimi. They're consumed all around the world by people in Japan. They have high IQs when they consume these foods.
The thing about swordfish is a oily fish, a fatty fish, but tuna is not a fatty fish. So, especially if you're eating tin tuna, I would avoid that. I do occasionally eat it. It's just not the best thing for you. Especially you do especially not want to eat the tuna in seed oils, and a lot of people put mayonnaise on tuna, which is also very bad for you. You know, the jarred and bottled mayonnaise. Definitely want to avoid that. Tuna overall, just... I mean, I suppose you're eating raw tuna, like in Japan. I've eaten raw tuna before. It's very delicious compared to the tin stuff. The tin stuff is horrible. It's like cat food. It is cat food. So yeah, I would avoid tuna. I don't know about swordfish. I've never had swordfish. I mean, actually, no, that's a lie. Apparently, I've had swordfish, but I doubt it's real swordfish.
They are very sought after and expensive, so I'm going to put these in upper class. I think the only thing keeping them from being elite is the fact that they are possibly high in heavy metals, which is bad for things like hair loss and things like that. But, you know, I still consume tuna very, very often, and I love tuna, so I would never discourage anybody from eating too much tuna just because it's high in heavy metals. Next up, we have fermented milk, or clabbered milk, or even cottage cheese. This is high.
I don't think cottage cheese is the same. I think the thing with cottage cheese is... shop-bought cottage cheese, I don't think it it's the same like as raw milk. I don't think it's the same as that.
Enzymes, probiotics, and really good for the gut. Definitely, it helps you to digest the raw milk. If you have any troubles with raw milk, I would always suggest to ferment it first. It helps with your gut bacteria. It's a really good food, probably one of the better foods that you can eat, and I would say it's up there with the elite foods. All these foods that I'm talking about here are
I agree with that.
consumed in their raw form.
I don't drink raw milk or raw cheese because it's so expensive and hard to get in England. I just drink kefir, and what I do is I put some kefir, yogurt or drink into normal milk, pasteurized milk, because that's what kefir is. It's pasteurized, but then they add the bacteria back in. It's kind of funny to think about. It's kind of like, why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just sell the raw milk? And it's just the stigma of, you know, propaganda, the pasteurization propaganda. Yeah.
I'm not talking too much about cooked. I mean, the difference between cooked and not cooked is negligible when it comes to protein and stuff. Nutrients you are going to lose. So I am mostly talking about raw foods when we mention these things: raw milk, raw royal jelly, raw beef, raw tuna. So yeah. One thing that I would never recommend eating raw though is corn. Corn is one of the most genetically modified, most sprayed.
When do you even eat raw corn anyway? Like the tin stuff?
The worst.
I mean, you eat corn on the cob, which is cooked, or tin stuff. I don't know if tin stuff is cooked.
Foods, least digestible foods.
Like, isn't raw corn the kernels? I don't know.
That you'll ever find on this planet. They're so GMO, and it's that bad that you literally see it come out in your feces, and everybody knows that corn is not digestible. It's completely useless.
Yeah, not digestible.
And everybody knows that corn is not digestible. It's completely useless. It's used to feed the masses for a cheap price. Absolutely over if you're consuming.
I want to say the word beginning with G, ending with Y, and O in the middle. And slop, you know? G, ending with Y, O in the middle, slop. And you probably know what that is. I'm just not going to say it on YouTube because they're probably not going to like that. And I don't want my video to get taken down. So yeah.
Corn. Next up we have root vegetables, carrots, potatoes, sweet potatoes, Swedes, things like that, yams. These foods are starvation foods essentially. You wouldn't find many humans digging around in the dirt for these things every day, you know, unless you are starving or unless you need to bulk up some kind of meal. These foods are high in starch, carbohydrates. They're going to bind up your gut completely and give you digestive issues. Most of these have oxalates and other toxins. They are completely hybridized. If you look at carrots in real life, if you look at potatoes and sweet potatoes in actual nature, they are tiny and don't provide anything near what the fake vegetables in the supermarkets provide. So
that is true, but I would say they do have beta carotene, so if you want your skin to look more orange, more tanned, more healthy, they are going to provide some of that. The vitamin A in them, which is converted from beta carotene, it's not easily absorbed as liver, for example. Black pepper can actually help with that. It can help with the absorption of vitamin A.
I'm going to put these into medieval peasant, definitely for sure.
I don't really eat carrots that much, but they are good for you in a sense, but I mostly avoid them. Same thing with potatoes.
Next up we have rice, high in anti-nutrients. It's a seed at the end of the day. White rice
yeah,
is
definitely rice. I would put that in its over because I see a lot of dishes and it's like 50% rice. The thing with rice is people are not just like eating a little bit of rice, they're eating it sometimes as like 50% of their meal. Like if you look at sushi or other stuff like that, or like curries and you know, chicken and rice, the bodybuilders, it's just completely bad for you. You're brainwashed.
A little bit better because you don't get the husk. The husk is high in the fiber, which is going to cause you digestive issues if you consume too much of it. But then you actually get access to all of the arsenic that's in there, all of the anti-nutrients. Yeah. Rice is a severe gut disruptor, very terrible food.
And the thing about rice is, white rice is actually better for you than brown rice. When I grew up, my parents were trying to get me to eat brown rice. My mum mainly, because my dad hated brown rice. Everyone hates brown rice. It's disgusting. It's more fiber. It's more difficult to digest. It's worse for you than white rice. So yeah.
Food, and I would say it's definitely a medieval peasant food. Maybe not so over if you're consuming rice. I think there's worse things in the world, but yeah.
I'd put rice and bread in the same category of it's over because you just shouldn't be eating those things.
Products, which is bread. I even gave it the benefit of the doubt by including sourdough.
They literally have to fortify bread to be able to sell it. Otherwise, you're just literally eating something like sawdust.
Because people somehow think that sourdough,
it literally just fills you up and nothing else.
It's always some sort of superfood, but it's only just fermented grain.
I used to eat sourdough, and I used to eat eggs on it, and it was really delicious. Fried eggs on sourdough is really delicious, but it's not necessary. It's not necessary.
It doesn't really have anything different. It's still got all the anti-nutrients. It's still got the gut disrupting fiber. It's just a terrible food. It has nothing. Bread, wheat is still one of the most sprayed plants with glyphosate, which is going to disrupt your hormones, literally make you infertile if you consume too much of it. It's going to destroy your gut. So absolutely, definitely a medieval peasant food. That is a staple of the medieval peasant diet. Next up, you can't tell what that is. That's spices, which is one of the most toxic foods known to man. It's food.
The thing about spices is they do have antioxidants in them. They also have beta carotene. Again, it's just vanity. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, I mean, spices, they aren't good for your digestive system. They're going to mess you up. I used to eat a lot of spicy food, and I can't really say that they on their own messed up my stomach. I think it was more the bread and the rice and the potatoes and just too many carbohydrates and sugar. So I can't necessarily blame spices on their own, but you shouldn't really be eating spices.
Foods that do not want to be eaten. They're full of anti-nutrients, which is why they taste so.
The funny thing though is birds and some animals like dogs, they can't taste spices at all, but it can be still bad for their digestive system.
Strongly why they're spicy and make your throat hurt, because they're not supposed to be consumed. If you was a smaller animal and you consume this, it would really do some serious damage. Because we're so big and because we consume them in such small amounts and we cook them to death, we don't really notice the effects quite as much. But if you're consuming things like turmeric all the time, it can lead to anemia over time. Things like pepper can lead to severe leaky gut issues. So if you are consuming spices, I would say for you, it is over. Next up, we just have regular raw milk, which is still high in probiotics, high in enzymes, really good source of calcium. Also, it has growth hormone, which is good and also bad at the same time, but it supports bone development and bone growth. It's not an ideal essential food for a human being after the age of maybe 3. You know, we shouldn't exactly be drinking other.
The thing about milk is I drink milk because it's hydrating. It's nice to drink.
Animals' milk per se, but this food is way better than most foods that you would ever find on a supermarket shelf. So I would always put it in the upper class bracket for sure. Next up is one of my favorite foods to consume raw. It's bone marrow, especially beef bone marrow. It's high in glycine, extremely high in collagen and stem cells. So this food is going to really help you with your immunity. It's going to help your skin. It's going to help everything, production of white blood cells. The amount of energy that you're going to get per tablespoon is massive as well. So you consume a small amount and get a lot of energy.
I've had bone marrow, but it's always been, you know, it's come with stuff. I haven't bought bone marrow on its own. I've had bone marrow mash as well, which I don't think actually has much bone marrow in it in the first place, but yeah.
Energy from it. This is one of my favorite foods, and it's definitely a supreme overlord food. This is what the supreme overlords will be eating. Next up, we have another fruit. It's kiwis, and I've separated these because everybody knows that kiwis are extremely high in oxalates, one of the worst anti-nutrients, cause kidney stones in your kidneys. They're like little small glass shards that build up and create stones in your kidneys and gallbladder. Terrible fruit.
I used to really like eating kiwis, and I'd like to let them ripen until they tasted moldy. And I don't know why I liked that. Like, it tastes like medicine. It tastes like something you shouldn't be eating, but I just love to eat it. And I would eat it with the furry skin on it as well, which, you know, is really bad. It's just so much fiber as well. So
realistically,
I don't know why I did that. I just liked it.
I'm going to put these even below,
like a monkey eating it. Oh,
and put them in medieval peasant, even though it's not.
I used to do a lot of weird stuff.
Exactly in line with what medieval peasants would eat. It has to go below the other ones because it's just so high in oxalates that it's pointless to consume. Next up, we have one of the most industrially produced foods, which is seed oils. This causes so much debate.
This is probably the worst thing on the list. Actually, either onions and seed oils. Yeah, probably the worst things.
Online, but it's such a terrible food. It actually causes lipid peroxidation and mitochondrial dysfunction. Absolutely terrible food.
Crazy.
High in linoleic acid. Terrible for your body. Causes your arteries to be clogged. Unlike some people would have you believe that cholesterol does that.
Yeah,
these are
exactly.
some of the worst foods.
The thing about that is also in the 80s, they had a massive attack on saturated meat, and they still do attack saturated meat, but there's been more studies now that saturated meat is actually fine to eat. It's just, you know, scaremongers, you know, vegetarian diets. They're trying to push fiber. Big Food is trying to push all this rubbish. So yeah, margarine and butter was debated. That margarine, a plant-based, you know, butter was healthier than real butter. Like, come on, use your common sense. Our ancestors have been eating butter for, you know, how long? It's been ages. It's been hundreds and thousands of years. It's crazy how long we've been eating this, and it's been fine. And, you know, raw butter, raw milk, it's incredibly good for you
to consume in the whole world. They're bleached because they absolutely stink. They're rancid before they're bleached and perfumed. And if you was to consume them before that, you would feel absolutely sick. Okay, so quickly we have one of the favourites of everybody's diets, and that's eggs. Eggs are pretty much unbeatable, high in cholesterol. They do have anti-nutrients in the white, 3 different types, avidin being the main one, which binds to biotin.
The thing with eggs, I like to drink them raw. I just crack them open into a glass and then I drink it. I could, in theory, just drink the egg yolks because they are the ones that taste nice anyway. You can separate the egg yolks and separate the egg whites. You can cook the egg whites and then you'll be fine with the anti-nutrients because they'll be fine. The biotin. I normally like eat seven of them in one go. 7 to 10 in one go. But yeah, it just depends, right? You know, egg whites are not the best.
Cause a biotin deficiency. There's a lot of arguments online about that. I don't really consume that many egg whites. I prefer the yolk, but the yolk is absolutely massively nutrient.
If I had more money, I would just eat the egg yolks and discard the egg whites. I just don't really discard the egg whites because if I'm paying for it, why discard it?
Hence, absolute elite food for sure. So as we know, fat is king when it comes to digestion. People believe that fiber helps to create short-chain fatty acids in the colon, like butyric acid. But when you look at something like butter, it's completely high in butyric acid or butyrate, and this is one of the best fat sources you can actually consume. It's so good. Vitamin D, vitamin A, K2, CLA, literally one of the best foods on the planet. So good. It lubricates your joints, lubricates your digestive system, takes toxins away from your gut and your colon. One of the best foods literally you can consume.
Just make sure you don't eat salted butter with loads of salt in it, and obviously just have butter without salt in it.
Butter is an elite food. Now we have one of the worst food types, which is green leafy vegetables. We're always told to
green leafy vegetables. Wow. So yeah, when I was a kid, I would beg and beg and beg my parents to buy me spinach. And whenever I ate spinach as a child, I would get goosebumps on my arm and it would feel really, really strange. And I didn't get that with any other leafy green vegetables, I don't think. But I would hate eating kale. It was just horrible texture, horrible taste. Broccoli, I didn't like broccoli either. But I ate broccoli until I was like maybe 20 or 21. I'm 22 now. I've been eating it on and off for a long time. And yeah, it was a cause of my digestive problems. It was bloating me. It was giving me gas. It was making me fart. And it's just terrible. Terrible for you.
Children, eat your greens, you'll grow big and strong. You know, you look at Popeye, he eats his spinach and he has big, huge forearms.
Exactly.
Because of all the iron in there. But what people don't realise is they're high in fibre. You can't take the iron, you can't take the calcium out of these things. You don't get anything out of them. They're full of anti-nutrients like oxalic acid.
Vegetables are for reptiles and for mammals, other than humans. Because humans are, you know, they say the omnivores, we're more carnivore than omnivores. And, you know, all these items on the list are proof.
Create oxalates like we spoke about before, and also goitrogens, which are an actual poison. If you consume enough broccoli, you will be in a very bad position. One of the worst things that human beings can eat. We're not herbivores. We don't have the stomach capacity to ferment this vegetable. Completely over if you're consuming green leaves. I'm sorry to say, don't eat greens. Don't listen to your mum and dad. Put the greens down and pick up a steak instead. Next up, we have honey, which all civilizations and cultures across the world consume, where there are bees.
Honey, like honey and yogurt, honey and peanut butter, those kind of combinations, honey and milk. These were seen as like biblical foods. These were foods of the gods, you know, in ancient Greece, in the biblical times as well, you know, Roman times, you know, all of these times they were like a super drink.
There's only places like the Arctic Circle and the Antarctic where people don't consume honey, and it's one of my favorite foods.
Yeah, and the thing about the Arctic Circle is they're not getting any sugar at all. Like maybe some sugar from their berries when they do eat the berries. That's why their teeth is also so good, because they get no sugar at all.
I love it, even though it's high in sugar, and I probably shouldn't eat so much of it. Honey is actually one of the only foods that never expires. It's kind of a wonder food, and I really like it, but it's not exactly ideal, and I would say honey is more for the middle class.
I barely ever eat honey. What I'll normally do is I'll buy a jar, and then I'll use that jar, and then I go months and months and months without it. If I'm sick, I do like to have it, because it's antibacterial on your throat. So it can be good, but you know, it depends. You want to really check what honey you're getting, because you want the real honey. You want good honey that is better than other honeys, and then some honeys like New Zealand honey can have glycosates in it. So yeah.
One of the highest cholesterol foods, also high in DHA, is brain. This is one of the best foods to consume for your actual brain. It'll improve your cognitive function.
See, I've never had brain before, but I'd be interested in trying it.
It'll make you think clearer. It's really tasty. It tastes a bit like egg yolks if you've ever tried it before. And
That's
one of my favourite organs for sure. Definitely.
Do you know why it would taste like cholesterol? Is because brains are made out of cholesterol. You know, eggs have cholesterol, brains have cholesterol. That's why cholesterol is good for your brain. They say it isn't, but it is.
Supreme overlord foods. And it's not just for zombies.
That's my kind of thinking. If you want something good for your brain, your heart, your liver, your skin, your bones, you need to eat exactly what they're made out of. You know, collagen is in skin and bones. What is collagen good for? Skin and bones. So, you know, just use your logic.
It's actually for real healthy human beings, so the brain is very, very tasty and very nutritious. Next up we have hard cheese, pretty similar to the cottage cheese. If you leave it longer to ferment, you know, you've got stuff like blue cheese, goat's cheese. Some of this cheese is really, really good. You have to be careful of the salt content.
It depends on if it's raw though, because the other ones would just be pasteurized.
In some of it, salt is really disruptive to the gut. It actually kills cells. If you can get raw unsalted cheese, it's probably up there with elite foods. I'm actually going to put it in elite foods though. Yeah, I'm going to put it in there. If you can get raw.
I thought I saw some raw cheese in Sainsbury's, and it was something like £30 for 100 grams. It's ridiculously expensive. It depends, like it's just so expensive, and then you have to deliver it, and then sometimes these farm shops that sell raw milk and raw cheese, sometimes you have to pick up, like sometimes they don't even do delivery. They do subscriptions, and those subscriptions are sold out, so yeah.
Unsalted cheese, or you can get some kind of blue cheese, fermented cheese. It's really good for you. Although not ideal, I wouldn't put it in Supreme Overlord, but you know, the elites and pretty much everybody loves cheese. So next is nightshades, which contain alkaloids like tomatine and capsicum. These are very disruptive to the gut. They're not as good as people like to make out. They're not so bad. I mean, preferably you would cook these.
Tomatoes used to be a poverty food. Like they, I think it's Eastern Europeans, they used to smuggle them, and they would eat them and jar them. Yeah, they're just not good.
To get rid of the anti-nutrients. Not the worst foods in the world.
I never eat these because I don't like them.
For sure, but also not the best. Most of these are fruits, so or fruit adjacent. So I'm going to put them with the fruits here in lower class.
I'd put them in medieval peasant.
Probably not the best foods. Maybe I should put them in medieval peasant even, but I'm going to put them in there. They're around the area. It's either medieval peasant or lower class, either one.
That's kind of an insult to berries. I think berries are way better than tomatoes. Even if they do have, even if they do have pesticides, they still have the antioxidants. So
depending on what you think. To be honest with you, rethinking, they're really low in nutrients. I'm going to put them down here, especially with the gut disruptors. Next up, another really rare food that some of you may not know, but it's colostrum, which is the milk that's produced in the first few days of lactating when any animal has a child. So your mother will have produced colostrum in the first few days, and you will have got all of that if you were breastfed. Colostrum's really high in immunoglobulins.
I'd really like to try this, but I have no idea how to get it, and I haven't looked it up, but it's probably very expensive.
Ferrin and insulin growth factor. So it's bad, but it's also great food. Like if you really want to increase your bone density, if you really want to grow properly, this is the kind of food that you should be consuming. Supreme overlord food, just because of how rare it is and how powerful this kind of food is, for sure. Next up we have herbs, which are some of the most toxic things you can actually consume, even worse than leafy greens. If there was a lower tier than it's over, they would be going in there. They mimic cortisol, they make you stressed, they disrupt your skin, your gut, they inhibit thyroid function, cause liver detox. They're high in so many anti-nutrients. They're literally just probably the worst foods that you can consume. Up there with spices, onions, and all these other things. They are terrible.
It's something like mint, and some other herbs. They can destroy like 30 to 40% of your testosterone for hours. Isn't that a crazy thing that they can disrupt your hormones so much?
Foods to consume. Don't eat herbs, especially not in the raw form. When you cook them, you cook out some of the anti-nutrients, but they're just pointless. All they do is taste a certain way, and you're just accustomed to those tastes at the end of the day. If you used to chew on these herbs on their own in high amounts, you would get very sick. So stay away from herbs if you can. Next up, we have testicles, which are high in zinc. They are testosterone precursors, so these are really going to boost your hormone production. And
I'd also like to try these, but I have no idea where anywhere would sell these in England. It probably does, but it probably goes into like dog food or something. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I know in Spain they call them Rocky Mountain oysters, and they like deep fry them or something. Not very healthy, but you know,
and make you a superhuman. Most people would be put off by the fact that they are
exactly
balls, but at the end of the day, They're a great food.
Food.
I'm going to put them up there with elite.
If you can eat brains and liver and hearts, why wouldn't you not eat testicles?
Some people would probably say they don't really want to eat them. They are very good foods, but I'm not going to put them up there with Supreme Overlords because most people would cringe at the fact that they're going to eat balls. Okay, so one of the most popularly consumed beverages is coffee, but they are extremely high in heavy metals and mycotoxins, you know, full of mold, moldy beans that stimulate
Mold? I've never heard they had mold.
your adrenals, create stress within the body. They're high in acrylamide, which is a neurotoxin, and they're also a diuretic, which means basically they're going to make you go to the toilet. You'll lose minerals, you'll flush yourself out.
Whenever I drank coffee before, it just made me super, super anxious, and it just, I could just feel it. It's like feeling of needing to take a shit, and you don't know when you're gonna shit.
It's just really not worth it. You'll destroy your adrenals over time. People think you get energy from the bean. You don't get energy from the bean. You get energy from the stress that the bean causes.
I do have to say that I used to like to eat really dark chocolate, like 80, 90, 100% dark chocolate. I used to really like doing that, and I quit doing it because unless you get 100%, it's got sugar, and it's still got the caffeine, and it's still got some things, and it's kind of toxic, so yeah.
If you're consuming coffee, it's absolutely...
But there is an interesting thing that apparently if you eat 100% dark chocolate, it's good for your enamel, because it hardens on your enamel, but I don't really think it's worth trying.
Over. It stinks. Your breath stinks. It's over for you, mate. So, sticking with the bean theme, talking about kidney beans, castor beans, soybeans, they're high in protease inhibitors, they're high in saponins, phytates, lectins, all defense chemicals, all terrible for your gut. They are the part of the plant that does not want to be eaten.
Yeah, beans were like probably the worst thing you can ever eat for your digestive system, because they just make you shit like crazy. I remember I used to eat these and I shat like crazy and I farted like crazy, and they're just really bad. And people say English people eat a lot of beans. No, we don't. I mean, some people do, but no. Heinz beans, especially Heinz beans, with the tomato and all the spices and everything else, it's really bad.
Or at least digested.
That's why people say when they eat Mexican food, they just get the shits. It's not from the meat. It's probably not even from the tortillas and anything else. It's the beans. The beans, the onions, that kind of shit.
So if you do eat them, they'll just come straight back out again. That's how they're supposed to be, because the plant wants to spread its seed as far as possible. Animals will come along and eat these beans, and they will not be able to process them properly, and they'll just come out whole, and they will fertilize the soil and grow again. That's how plants reproduce. If we're talking about kidney beans, a small handful, raw, 4 or 5 kidney beans could cause severe vomiting, diarrhea.
Exactly, yeah.
And gut problems. You know, any more than that could have serious implications. And if we're talking about castor beans, they have a natural toxin called ricin in them. When you extract this, you can literally make a poison out of it.
That's the one from Breaking Bad.
That is fatal to somebody. So, do you want to consume beans? Nobody consumes them in the raw form because they know how dangerous it is. But when you cook them, you are only reducing these toxins. You can't literally get rid of all of them unless you turn them into mush. So, you shouldn't consume beans. Like with coffee, it's really over if you're consuming beans. Okay, we're going to blast through the rest of these. Heart, high in CoQ10 and B12. Really good organ. Tastes a lot like meat. If you want the closest organ to muscle meat, you're going to go with the heart. Heart is really good.
Wow, I never knew that it tasted like meat. I would have, when I was more skeptical of organ meats, thinking they were more disgusting, even back then I would have tried it, it's just my parents never bought it. My sister had heart meat and she gave it to the dog. I can't remember if she like dissected it at school or something like that, and that's why she had it. But she gave it to the dogs and they loved it. I mean, I never knew it was like muscle meat.
Elite food. Sticking with organs, we'll go next to liver, one of the most nutrient-dense foods, if not the most nutrient-dense food that you will find. Definitely Supreme Overlord. Vitamin A is huge in this, great for your eyesight. You know, if you think that carrots are good for your eyesight, that's what you were told. They're high in beta-carotene. Most humans can't really convert it to the degree that you would want to. High in vitamin A if you want good eyes, good skin. Consume liver.
Yeah.
Next up is coconuts.
Liver is the best. Today I ate some raw liver, and what I'm going to do for tomorrow is I will marinate it in kefir overnight. And kefir is meant to make it taste better and improve the texture. To be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of the texture. It's just kind of like slimy, squidgy. I normally like swallow it whole, and that's how I eat it. I don't really chew it up, to be honest.
If you live in a tropical country, these are great for hydration, really high in minerals. The coconut meat can be fermented and used for all sorts of things. It's great for hair loss. If you rub it on your hair, you can put it in your baths. Helps with detox. It's a really good thing to use. Pretty high.
I do sometimes eat coconut cream. I don't drink the coconut water because it's just, you know, it's just potassium. I can just drink milk for the potassium. I don't need it.
Sugar, but if you are on the beach and stuff like that, I don't think there's a more hydrating drink in those circumstances than coconut water, so I'm going to put it up there with the elite foods. I love coconuts, regardless of if they are high in sugar or not. Next up is avocados. These are another GMO fruit. You know, if you actually find them in nature, they would have a lot less flesh than they do in the supermarkets. They are highly cultivated now. They're high in oleic acid. They're not so bad. They're not also so good. They've got a bit of vitamin E in them. There's not really much to them, to be honest with you. Not many negatives. I'd probably put those into the middle class as well.
I put them in lower class, or yeah, I put them in lower class. They're just yeah, just whatever. Like, they're the most nutritious fruits, but they're still there, you know.
If you are from around the areas that they're grown in, I don't really eat avocados because they have to be flown in from so far away. It's not really my thing. Salmon, high in EPAs, DHA, omega-3.
Yeah, the thing about avocados is the vegan people that eat them, they're actually destroying more animals by having them planted, and they also have bees to come and pollinate them, and just millions and millions of bees die just from doing that. And it's just so crazy because they transport the bees in lorries to come and pollinate the avocados, and it's just stupid. You know, vegans don't realize this.
He's really good, but you just have to be careful that it's wild caught. Even some of the wild caught stuff is like kind of even the farm stuff now has fell into the gene pool, so you have to kind of be careful with salmon. But it's a really good food, and I would probably say upper class for sure. Whitefish, high in protein.
I quite like smoked salmon, but it's just too salty.
Selenium, iodine, pretty good for the thyroid. Good. I'd probably put it with the other fish in upper class. Next up, another supreme overlord food.
I don't actually like cod, to be honest. I can eat mackerel, and I can eat salmon, and I don't really like tuna either. But I just don't like cod.
I know it goes straight there before I even try. Heme iron, B12, plasma.
Blood is really, really good. I wish I could try blood, but again, it's expensive to buy it. I've looked online. It just seems expensive to buy it. The thing I have had, which has had blood in it, is black pudding, but then you've got other things like oats and not so good things in it. Like, it has onion and spices in it, which is not so good. But I suppose it does have the iron, but it's nowhere near as good as pure raw blood.
It's literally one of the best foods that you can consume. Helps with red blood cell production, loads of energy. One of the most hydrating drinks you'll ever find. Oysters, great for minerals, zinc, copper, selenium, iodine, hormones. One of the best foods that you'll ever consume. So cheap and available
I've never actually tried oysters. Never, ever.
Everywhere. Definitely up there with supreme overlord foods. Could be an elite, but I'm going to put it up there as well because I love oysters. That's just my personal opinion.
I saw a video of him at a restaurant eating oysters, and I think he paid like £21, or I can't remember if it was more than that. Something like £21 for 21 oysters. It might have been like a different number. I don't know.
Spleen, the organ that's probably closest to blood, has a lot of heme iron.
Okay.
Very good. If
I definitely want to try that.
you have anemia, good food. Doesn't really taste the best. I'd probably put it in upper class, to be honest with you. Next we have thyroid, high in T3, T4, really good for your thyroid and metabolism. Great food, probably not readily available. I'll put it in upper class with the rest of those kind of foods. Next we have nuts, another derivative of a seed or a bean. It's all the same kind of thing. They all do the same job. They're high in phytates, lectins. They also disrupt the gut.
Definitely
terrible foods, realistically. They also contain omega-6 polyunsaturated fatty acids. This is another picture of spicy, so we're going to ignore that. The only non-whole food, complete garbage, full of fillers. Spikes insulin.
I've never ever taken whey protein.
Just such a terrible food. If you want protein, just go to any of these sources. You get way more, if you pardon the pun. The only non-whole food on here, completely useless.
Just drink raw milk.
Products, absolutely garbage. It's a waste product. They forced it on the population. Never ever consume whey protein. Make your own whey. Ferment your milk like you do here with your cottage cheese, and drink the whey. Way better. Again with a pun. But yeah, guys, that'll be it for the video. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time.
Yeah, good video. I really enjoyed that. Really informative.